Aloha and shalom. Welcome to the full moon activation. For those of you who are new to these activations, they don't actually have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that we use the moon as a measurement of time so that we can meet 4 times a month, 1 time a week. Just unite our hearts, our minds as one. And we do these readings in a way where we pull out the cards and it reveals a message. We extract the message and we receive it together. So that's really all this is about. I often get requests for personal card pulls, personal readings during this time, but this is about the collective consciousness. I do these every week for the collective consciousness, okay? The message is always very simple. It's always an archetypal message, archetypal wisdom. Just gives us something to focus on. Gives us a point of focus, something to feel good about, something to be inspired by together. So I'm just shuffling the cards, just beginning to shuffle. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. As usual, I'm tuning in from the magnificent Sedona, Arizona, USA. Let me see where y'all tuning in from. It's one of my favorite parts of doing these videos every week, which, by the way, these videos have been going on for years now. Let me see what our light grid is today. When you guys tell me where you're tuning in from, that's what I imagine. I imagine these little light points lighting up a grid all across the world. Florida, Maine, New York. Margaret says, my shower. Indiana, awesome. So good to see you all tuning in. We are creating our grid of light right now. Australia, awesome. So as everybody's tuning in and dropping the comments, letting us know where they are tuning in from, just imagine that. Imagine that grid of light that we are forming right now as we are turning on our computers, our phones, our devices, and connecting, uniting via this technology. Uniting our energies, which otherwise would have just been scattered all over the world. We are intentionally bringing it all together right now. How can you feel that right now? Can you see it? So let go of whatever it is you've been carrying. Thoughts, feelings, all day, all week, all month, all year, whatever it is, just set it aside for now. Be empty. Be an open, empty vessel to receive the message that is about to come in. Go ahead and integrate your energy with the deck however you know how. Remember, all is mind. It's all imagination. So you can send a thread of light from your third eye, from your inner eye, from your one eye, from your heart, from your belly, wherever, to the deck. So you can see yourself connecting that way. Do whatever you want to do. You can see your energy pixelating and then dissolving into the deck, whatever. Be creative and have fun. You can see yourself shrinking and jumping into this deck right now. You can see yourself here with me. You can see yourself holding hands with all these beautiful people across the world. And we're giving thanks in advance for the message that's about to come through. Thank you, archetypes. Thank you, Faces of the One, for bringing us this message today so that we could all have this one message to unite under. Today I'm going to pull what is our current challenge right now as we move through this full moon. And remember, the full moon is always reflecting something that's actually happening inside of us. The fullness of the moon is reflecting the fullness of a message that we have been receiving this entire month. So now we're seeing the whole picture of it. So what's going on with our current challenge? What's the message about our current challenge under the light of this full moon? Who is the ally? The one that's going to be our inspiration? And what are we moving toward? Starting with the challenge under this full moon. 10 of Cups. 10s are endings and new beginnings. While 9s are just endings, 10s are endings and new beginnings together. It's the end and begin again. And it's cups, so it has to do with the heart and emotions. So this is our current challenge. What does that mean? This has to do with our heart's fulfillment. There's something that's still needing our attention, our awareness, in order to fill up that cup, the grail of the heart, in order to truly feel fulfilled. We're shifting right now. Our vision of what that fulfillment is, that's shifting. And so everything in our life has to shift to meet that. Perhaps you've recently come to a conclusion with a certain project or relationship or something that you thought was going to bring you much fulfillment, and you're here and you've done it, but you don't quite feel complete. Or maybe you do feel complete, you're just ready for the next project. So this challenge can manifest differently for all of us. It's going to look a little bit different for each one. But remember, this is also collective, so you want to think about it on both the individual level and also the collective level. Current challenge is feeling fulfilled in our hearts. What do we need to do right now in order to get there? At least creating the vision or the blueprint for that. If you can't quite do everything right now, at least creating the design for what you're going to do, the strategy for what you're going to do. Looking at our lives, the challenge right now is looking at our lives and asking, what things need to be closed up? What cords need to be cut so that I could take my energy back and put it into those projects, into those relationships, into those situations that are going to actually bring fulfillment? So there are certain projects that are wanting to be started up right now and certain ones that are wanting to be closed right now. We need to redesign our lives in such a way where we set ourselves up for success in regard to fulfillment of the heart. And I think that for many of us, this is feeling pretty clear, and let me know if this resonates with you. I think for many of us, what the real challenge is here is figuring out what we even want for the heart to be fulfilled. What does that mean for us individually, but also collectively? What does it mean for that cup to be filled up? What does it look like for that cup to be overflowing? If we don't have a clear definition of that, both in our individual reality as well as our collective reality, how can we manifest it? Another one that's coming up, and I feel this very strongly, is that we are dealing with actually heartache. We're dealing with the opposite of heart fulfillment. There are a lot of things that are weighing heavy on us, and we are feeling as though those things are going to get in the way of us even achieving what the heart really wants. So there could be deep fear or doubts that are serving as limitations on the road to getting to that point of being fulfilled with our lives and in our relationships. So what is it that's weighing heavy on your heart? What is it that you, maybe even only subconsciously, have been allowing to get in the way of manifesting that reality that you really want? What is it that's in the way of you believing that you deserve to be fulfilled? What is it? It's not anything outside of you, because that's an illusion. What is it inside of you, perhaps deep inside of you? A belief, a program that thinks that you can't get here, that believes that you can't get to this place of fulfillment. What is in the way? That's the important thing to look at. Where in your thoughts, which will be reflected in your language, so pay attention to both, where can you see a limiting belief? Something that's in the way of you manifesting this reality of fulfillment and also sustaining it. What beliefs do you have inside of you, again, perhaps very deep inside of you, that are conflicting with this vision of fulfillment? how can you look at them and look at those thoughts, look at them, make peace with them, shift them, redefine them, alchemize them, transmute them, do whatever you have to do in order to clear the way to get to that life that you want to live. Okay, so current challenge. Remove any blocks that are in the way of you believing that you deserve to manifest that life of fulfillment for yourself and for those around you. What is keeping you from believing that you deserve that? What is keeping you from believing that you can do it? What is keeping you from taking the first steps? What is keeping you from releasing those fears and doubts? Those questions all have to do with the current challenge. Who is the ally as we move through this? Another 10. Another 10. So far we have 2 10s. The current challenge is the 10 of Cups. And the ally is the 10 of Pentacles. This being the ally tells us what we want to do right now is envision prosperity for ourselves and for our loved ones, for our friends, and for the world, because this is a collective reading, so we want to take it to that level. We want to take it to that place of the bigger picture. When we really focus on manifesting that gold, right? These pentacles coins, they're really representing, they're little pieces of gold, but they're really representing what it is that you value and are wishing to bring into manifestation. So the value of those coins depend upon the value of your thoughts and the material behind the manifestation, which is the energy that you're creating, that you're visualizing, that you're feeling. So if we begin to close our eyes, remember it starts within, focus there first, and envision prosperity for ourselves and all those around us, including the whole world, right? If we do that and we just focus on that, and what is prosperity? It's health, happiness, abundance, the simple blessings that are also the greatest blessings. If we just rest there, if we just keep our focus on that, then we will make it through this challenge. It's like we need to step away from this. We need to step away from the challenge and get at it from a side angle, if that makes sense. If we fill ourselves with this vision of goodness unfolding for ourselves and for all, beyond the feelings and because this is cups, okay? So this is emotions. Cups is feelings and emotions. It's the heart. If we could just step away from all that for a moment and remember what's really important first are those simple blessings of health and abundance, just happiness for ourselves and for everyone. If we just focus on that, we create a foundation that will ultimately, effortlessly, organically heal this challenge that we're going through. So get out of your head a little bit. Stop worrying about your relationships. Stop worrying about how you've been giving too much or not enough. Stop worrying about how you haven't been given to enough. Stop worrying about how you're not receiving enough in your relationships. Or just stop. Step away from the relationship stuff. Step away from all of it for now. Because a lot is being revealed, right? It's the full moon right now, which is reflecting this truth that everything is coming to the light. It's like the moon is like a metaphor for that, right? And so it's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. A lot is being revealed, and we can immediately, upon viewing these revelations, we can start to have all these ideas and judgments and opinions. Oh my goodness, all this was revealed about myself and my relationship with myself. Or, oh my goodness, all this was revealed about my relationship with this other person. And then we start to like overthink and overanalyze. Oh my goodness, so how will I fix this? Or how will I fix that? And how will I do this? And how will I receive that? How will I give it? And it can be so overwhelming. So before we get lost in all the feelings around that situation, around these relationships and everything that's being revealed right now, before we start jumping to conclusions and overanalyzing everything, let's just step away from that entirely. And remember to focus on our vision of prosperity for ourselves and for those around us, which includes the simplest of blessings. That's the key point here. today specifically. How can we pull our focus back in? Where right now it's just leaking into all these different areas. We're overanalyzing everything. Overanalyzing everything. How can we pull that all back in? And remember the simple blessings and give all of our presence, all of our awareness and energy to that. You know what? It's like having a conversation with God, creator, source. You know what, God? I really don't know what I'm going to do with this situation, but I'm not going to ask you right now. Really, we're talking to ourselves here. I'm not going to ask myself right now. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to ask myself. I'm not going to ask anybody. I'm not going to ask anything. I'm not going to overanalyze everything. I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm just going to set it aside. And I'm going to hold on to my vision of prosperity for myself and for this world, for everyone in it, for all beings. And I'm going to give myself to that entirely. Do you know how good you can feel instantly by doing this? It seems so simple, but if it wasn't simple, it wouldn't be right. Because this timeless truth, universal truth, is simple. It is. So try it just for a moment and see how you feel. Try to just reel it in. Pull your energy back in. Stop leaking it everywhere with all this over-analyzing. Try to figure everything out. How could, beating yourself up over not being enough or resenting someone because you believe they're not enough. All this is such a mess. Just be in the stillness. Pull your energy back in. And give thanks that you are alive right now. If you're watching this, you are alive right now. You are breathing. There is fresh air for you to breathe right now. There are simple blessings that we can focus on, and I mean really focus on with all of our energy. I don't mean focus a little bit of our energy on gratitude for the simple blessings and leave some of it over here leaking, toward this matter or that matter. No, I'm saying pull it all back in. And give it all to this expression of gratitude for the blessings that are right here, right now. Simple. You don't need anything to get to that space. You don't need anyone to get to that space. You don't need anyone to do anything for you. And you don't need to do anything for anyone else. All that this requires is that you sit there. Be still. And bring your energy back in so that you can give it entirely to an expression of gratitude. It's very simple. And where are we moving toward now? This is the final card, you guys. The Lovers, aka the Two Paths. And this card is often misunderstood. It's not actually about love or romance. It's about choice. It's about making a choice. The Two Paths. I like that name better. In fact, if you have my book, you'll see that I include the Egyptian names. So the reason I like that name better, the Two Paths, is because I believe it better represents the archetypal wisdom of this arcanum, which all has to do with a choice point, a crossroads. We are coming to a point where we're going to have to make a very big decision. You probably already know what this decision is. Not that you already know what your decision is going to be. You already know that you're going to have to make a decision. Okay, so what I'm feeling is that we are very aware that there is a fork in the road that we are approaching. We know it. Some of us more subconsciously, some of us more consciously, but we're aware to some degree that there's a big choice that's going to have to be made. We're either going to have to go this way or that. And it's going to determine the way that our future unfolds. This is very powerful. So if we want to ensure that we're making the best decision when that time comes, then we got to do the work that's upon us right now. If we want to make sure that we make the best decision, we better clear, this is the challenge, right? We better clear ourselves of all this overanalyzing, all of this overthinking everything, judging ourselves and everyone around us, becoming overwhelmed with our emotions. We better get right, get back to the focus, remember the simple blessings, And the more we can do this right now, remember this is the ally energy, the more we can do this right now, really hold on to that expression of gratitude for all the blessings that are already here right now and for the ones on their way. The more we could just rest in that space, then when we approach this crossroads, by the time we come to this crossroads, we will feel confident in our ability to make the decision to go this way or that. Tarot is a sequence, so you always want to look to the cards before and after the one that's being pulled. So if this is the card that we're coming up to soon, we want to consider what's the card before 6? It's 5. It's the Hierophant. It's tuning into the heart's compass. So we want to make sure that that heart's compass is attuned. We want to make sure that we're connected to our truth, that we are in our center, that we know who we are, that we're not being sidetracked, that we're not being distracted by overanalyzing everything. And then, oh, we missed the ticket. We won't be able to make that clear decision if we're so lost in our emotions and lost in our stories. So we need to get clear. Remember, the Hierophant comes right before the decision. That's tuning into your own heart's truth. However you can do that right now to prepare, do it. We need to feel clear in order to do that. We need to feel compassion in order to do that. We need to be able to forgive ourselves and each other if we're going to do this. That's why this is the challenge right now. We have to get through this. We have to stop overanalyzing and judging everything. If we are not clear-headed, we won't feel confident in our ability to make this decision that is coming up. And remember, after the 6 comes the 7, the Chariot, aka the Conqueror. That is all about ascension. So the decision that is coming up is all about ascension. It's all about growth. It's all about expansion. So prepare for that. Know that whatever decision you're going to be faced with soon, it's going to be challenging, but the challenge is only there so that you can transcend it. Don't forget that. So this is coming up. We're going to have the opportunity to make a big decision that's going to affect our future in a very powerful way. The best thing you can do right now, the best thing we can do right now, is to let go of the frustrations in our relations. Let go of the frustrations in the relations. Stop overanalyzing your relationships because it's leading you down a spiral, a negative spiral. It's certainly not bringing you to a space of clarity and confidence. So just let that go for a bit. Trust that will all sort itself out. Get back to the fundamentals. Get back to an expression of gratitude. Be grateful that you and your family and your friends have their health, have each other. And I want to remind you that to have mental clarity is a blessing. Mental health. This is coming through really powerful right now for some reason. So maybe there's somebody who needs to hear this. Mental health is a part of this vision. It's a huge part. It's not just about physical health. It's about well-being in all dimensions. And not just for the individual, but for the collective. So remember, your individual mind and the collective mind, the sharpness of that, the ability to tap into your own mind and then tap into the universal mind, that's a gift. And when we're not mentally healthy, then we lose that ability to connect with ourselves, our own mind, and the one mind, the universal mind, in a way that is productive, in a way that works for the highest good of all, including yourself. If you don't have that mental health, you don't have that connection. So give thanks for your mental clarity. Give thanks for your mental health. And if you don't quite feel there, if you don't feel like you are mentally well right now, that you are mentally healthy right now, how can you begin to envision yourself getting there? And then how can you take the steps to get there? And how can you reach out for help? Is there anyone you can reach out to be vulnerable, to be transparent and say, I need help because I need to get to this place of being mentally healthy? Remember, the first principle of Hermetics is the principle of mentality. You need to get right with your mind so that you can get right with the one universal mind. Give thanks for this blessing. And if you don't have it, get there and do what you need to do to feel thankful for health in all dimensions. Okay, so that's a key. The ally is saying this right now. Look at your health in all dimensions, physically, emotionally, mentally. Where is needing your attention? What do you need to do to be able to sit here and say, thank you for my health, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you. What do you need to do to get to that point where you could say that and really mean it and really feel it? Because that's what needs to be done. 2 10s and a major arcanum card. I really enjoyed this reading. I'm going to sit with it now. Thank you guys so much for joining me and opening up this portal. See so many beautiful beings in the portal today. I'm just so grateful to have you here with us. Working your magic, bringing your magic. Enjoy this message. If you know anybody who you think could benefit from hearing this message, please reach out to them, share it with your favorite groups that you think might appreciate this. If you think there's somebody who might fortify this message and help us to open up this portal further, please share it with them as well. It's an awesome community that we have here that has formed around these readings. So if you know of anybody who might want to join in, this is something that happens every single week. It's a really cool way to unite, especially with people you love, friends who are far away. We have the internet, and this is such a great way to use it. So let them know about our community. We also have a private Facebook group called The Royal Path. I would love it if you would join us. And we share about archetypal awareness and activation there. We also share insights about tarot, astrology, numerology, things like this. So if that interests you, please go ahead and join. It's called The Royal Path. It is also Shabbat today, so Shabbat Shalom. I have another private group called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat Crew. And that's where I share about Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah. And every Friday night for Shabbat, I post my favorite sources to receive the mystical import of the current Torah story. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, I would love to have you join us in our group. Again, it's called Shabbat Crew. Thank you to everybody for your wonderful reviews on my book. I'm doing a shipment on Monday, so if you've been wanting to purchase my book, I would be happy to send it to you directly and sign it. I am working on making more custom bookmarks for you guys, so that is in the works. There's also some exciting news, you guys. The second book, which is on the minor arcanum. Okay, the first book was on the major arcanum. The second book goes into all the other cards of the deck. It is now complete. My book is ready. However, I'm currently working on another project with my best friend, and that is a tarot deck. You all have been asking me for a deck forever. So we're currently working on that deck. And when the deck is done, I'm going to include it with the book, and the art will be in the book as well. So that way you'll get to have a very special deck to work with as you move through the book. But remember, the cards are inside of you. Thank you all for joining me. Until next time. Shalom.